War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together. We talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. We're always heavy on the sports here, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you for joining us and watching either live or on the replay. However we can get you, we'll take you. We appreciate you spending even a few minutes of your time with us. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kyle. I'm the editor of the E2C Network, family of podcasts and other content, including this YouTube channel out there. And we thank you for joining us tonight on this live stream. We're going to be talking Auburn versus LSU. Hasn't been a lot of conversation about that this week. I feel at least enough conversation this week, which I find very, very interesting just to kind of sit back and think about when you really consider the magnitude of this game. Sorry if you just heard a microphone switch over there because I was playing with some audio stuff to make it sound a little bit more conducive to everything that's going on right now, not so much background noise. So if it still sounds bad, let me know. But we're going to talk about Auburn versus LSU, our preview. We're going to work through it together. We're going to talk through it. We're going to come up with score predictions by the end of this thing. So that's what we're going to do. Plain's been saying mic check 1, 2. If you guys aren't hearing anything, please do let me know. You're making me worried now. I think I can hear it in here. Sounds better. He says, let's get it going. I've got it going. All right. Here's also the thing tonight before we get into some other little boilerplate stuff. This is a live call-in show for everyone. The headphones are on. That means at least somebody has the capability to call in. Please do check out the link at the very top of the chat window. You might have to scroll all the way up there to check that out. You can call in live. Only things, the parameters for that I want you to keep in mind. If you do choose to call in, this is a family-friendly show, so please do behave yourself. And let's be nice and reasonable. There's a lot of you that have, in comments and stuff this week, said that you're going to call in, and you've been very rowdy in the comments. Let's keep it civil. But anybody can call in, so you just never know what's going to happen. You might even get a war dustbuster out of it tonight. So that is open, and I'll put it up a couple of times throughout the show to remind you guys. But if you want it and you can't find it, let me know. I'll post it up there for you, but it is at the top of the chat. Let's say hello to a couple people already here. Corey Benson in the house. John Stokes, what's going on? Channel member and Booster Club member. Thank you, sir, for your support. Already said hello to Plainsman Murph. Yeah, that's, I know we want to talk about LSU and stuff, and I'm sure there's still everybody wanting to talk about quarterback controversy and the firing and all that stuff. And I know that all has implications of this, but I guess we do need to address this. I found out about this information late last night when I was in the middle of 1,000 other things. And I was like, I really want to do a video about this, but I just don't have the time. So unfortunately, I guess you'll just have to suffice for my opinions here. My first reaction was, who? Tony Franklin, how do I put this? You got to be relevant to have an opinion. And I'm not saying I'm relevant because I'm obviously sharing opinions here. So I say that tongue in cheek, about myself as well. Tony, man, it's best to let sleeping dogs lie. You need to have a resume of success to be critical about anything Auburn. And you don't have a resume of success here. So that's just and here's the thing. Anything I say here, and I try my best to do this, I would say to someone's face. Okay. Look, Tony Franklin, if you see this, you don't have the success record, at least at Auburn, to warrant those type of comments. So anybody can get a podcast these days and say anything. Case in point right here. As you guys are coming to the live stream, do a couple things for you. Make sure you smash that like button if you enjoy this type of content, and post where you're watching from: city, state, international, all that good stuff. Want to know who's in the chat. We got a first timer here tonight. What is up? Mark Bedgood the second. Bedgood, that's an interesting last name. Never heard that before. But thank you for joining us. Hope you'll stick around for quite some time. Chris says, lurking while at work. Don't get yourself in trouble. For those of you that listen to the Rick and Bubba show, which I do, I know that's probably the most Alabama thing in the world for me to say. I don't care. They have a phrase called monkey grass, I think it is, when they're calling in from work. We need something like that here. Dustbuster? No, that's reserved for just weird stuff. Corey said, who about Tony Franklin? Tony Franklin, dude, don't waste your time. No position to he's a hater. Has never been. So it looks like we're all pretty much on the same page with this. So he was commenting on the firing of Cornelius Williams. And we've talked about it in the last live stream. I've done a video about it, and we can address it again if you'd like to talk about it, but I feel like we've kind of hit most of it. So I really probably won't bring it up that much unless you guys really want an opinion or something like that, or share something that you've thought about it. But he was commenting on that because he apparently had a relationship with Cornelius Williams. And I've said 1,000 times, I was a big Cornelius Williams fan. I was shocked. I was a little dismayed and frustrated when it happened. But as time has gone on and you go back and listen to the narrative that's been building with Coach Harsin, it makes sense. Doesn't feel good. And usually the right decisions are the hardest ones. So we'll only find out over time. That's kind of my main point there. Oh, Chris is a patrol cop. Got to fill the time with. Well, I'm glad that we are valuable enough that you want to fill your time with us. Richard Vincent in the house from Pelham. Good to see you. Thanks for calling it or for watching from Pelham. Yeah, Corey, I remember they said that he coached Williams at Troy. And listen, I get it. There's actually been a lot of people that have come to our social media when we posted something back and said, I know Coach Williams. I went to school with him. Some people that I actually personally know. And I respect their opinions on it. And that doesn't change the fact you can like the guy. I love Coach Malzahn, and I was preaching from the heavens here on this channel. It was the stupidest decision to fire the guy. It has nothing to do with Coach Harsin, but just the decision to fire him. And here I am. I'm fine. Just because I have a loyalty to a guy doesn't mean that it may not be the right decision. We don't know that yet, but I felt like it was the wrong decision. We'll find out. Yes, and John just kind of echoed what I said. We'll know shortly if it was the right change. And that's in Plainsman. That's kind of what I've been trying to stress with people. We are operating with, at best, a third of the information, and probably not even that. And there's a lot of people that say that they're in the know. I say that I'm in the know. I know some things, but I don't know a lot. I'm just being honest here. I'm not going to sit on here and pretend that I've got all the best sources. I think some pretty good sources, but not like, I'm not going to act like I have it all. Sanford, Florida, Stan the man, a channel supporter. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I don't know how I've remembered that it's Stan on there, not just Calvinist Auburn fan, but somehow it's just retained in my memory. All right. Again, we can bounce back to some of those things if you'd like. I want to know, what are you guys thinking about LSU? And hold up, let's not talk about, score predictions yet. You guys are going to help me get there. This is probably I have no clue where to start with this one. So we're going to get there. Score predictions coming up later. Just what's on your mind about this LSU game? Is it the quarterback situation? Is it the defense? Is it the history of this? For me, I had hopes this week to produce a video for you guys, and I just don't know that it may not happen. Just about the last 2 decades of Auburn versus LSU in Baton Rouge and what's happened since then, since the last win there. There's been some crazy, crazy stuff, and it's been frustrating. It's been confusing at times, and we've seen 2 head coach. Well, we've seen. I'm trying to do my math here. How many head coaches from Auburn and LSU we go? So they had Nick left. He wasn't fired. Nick left. Les got hired, and now Ed Orgeron. So we've seen 3 head coaches for LSU. We've seen Tommy, Gene, Gus, and now Harsin. So that's an interesting way to look at it too. Who's had the most turnover? Auburn has at this point. Am I forgetting something? I'm forgetting a coach for LSU. I think that's right. Plainsman says, Casey, there, I just saw you. War Eagle, good to see you. You don't think TJ gets a start, but I believe he plays a couple of series. He'll be too amped up being back at LSU. A lot of smack talk from former players might get under his skin. Are you seeing smack talk, Plainsman? Because I've not been seeking it out, but I haven't seen it for myself. In terms of smack talk coming from them. If you've got a smack talk the third string quarterback that left you, You must not have much to smack talk about. Just my feelings on it. I do think, I guess I am leaning towards Nix is going to get the start. I think the depth charts were already released, but if you listen to Coach, this is like my new favorite phrase. If you listen to Coach Harsin in his press conference, he even said he doesn't put much stock in depth charts. It changes day to day, or it can change day to day. So what I will say this is, whoever coach puts out there, we need to support fully. And you don't need to be jumping at the first chance to get on Bo's case, because trust me, you're not original. So everybody just calm down for a minute and let's get out there. Let's see what happens. And then we can make a judgment call. If it becomes a pattern with Bo, if he gets to start, then we might have a discussion about might be time to make a change permanently. But let's not jump on one instance in one very odd game where there were more problems and frankly bigger problems than Bo Nix. And I think that's fair, Corey. I think it's fair to be wary of that. I think when you watch your starting quarterback do what he did in the first game, in that last game against Georgia State, you should be wary. You should be concerned. I'm concerned. There's a difference, though, between being concerned and you're not being this way, Corey, from what I know, and most people aren't, and not being reasonable. There's concern. And remember we talked, we're going to do it again. I'm back on this kick, guys. Emotions over here. Wait, which way? I always get mirrored here. Emotions over here. And this is context. Somewhere they meet in the middle to form the reality of the situation. I promise you, it's very rarely over on one of these two sides. I got to bring that back more. But most of you that have been following this channel for quite some time are like, Lord, help my soul. He's bringing that phrase back again. I'm trying to pull up. I'm trying to do a lot of things, honestly. Got to have wet the whistle. I'm trying to bring up my stats here because this machine that I use is so slow. See, for those of you that are channel supporters, this is what you're helping me build towards: getting better equipment, better camera, another monitor that I can use so I don't have to use this old Kindle and stuff over here that I'm using to be my reference point. So that's what some of your stuff is building towards. So thank you guys for doing that. Let's see. It's at 9 Eastern. People who make these times must hate Auburn, the hardest possible time for this game. All of these fans will be absolutely hammered, and they will be loud. Now, here's the question, though, and I hope we get some LSU fans. Where is DC Vlogs when we need him? He's an LSU fan that's popped in here on previous live streams, even before this game was even close. I'd love to have his perspectives. Not he, but is there a point where you get so hammered that you're no longer a problem? Like you're passed out drunk. I saw it at a guy like that in an Auburn game recently. So maybe they'll reach that point that they're so drunk that they're no longer a factor even for that. Listen, in all seriousness, yes, it is going to be a hostile environment. It always is, no matter what time it is, varying degrees, obviously. I really don't foresee 9 o'clock versus 7 o'clock being all that big of a difference, but I could be wrong. It's still going to be tough, though, guys. I'm not. Don't miss that, though, when I say this, that it is going to be a very difficult environment for Auburn to have much success, and especially the way that we've been trending. But it's possible. All right, I posted the call-in number in the chat again if you want to. It's at the top of the chat, but posted it in there again. Don't be shy. You can call in if you'd like to. It's like we get waves sometimes. We get people that want to call in for like everybody wants to do it one night, then nobody wants to do it. All right, we are way behind in chat. John says, if whoever is the quarterback can spread the field to prevent loading the box, we can run the ball. That's a great point. Great point. Got to establish that run. Let's see. Tim says he's wanting to have the momentum to go into the Georgia game. Not to nitpick at your comment, Tim, but this is what we were saying against Georgia State, and we overlooked Georgia State. So let's focus on LSU. But I get what you're saying. Yes, it is important to build momentum. This is not an LSU team by any stretch of the imagination that's going to win the national title, but it is still a formidable conference opponent. If you get that win on the road, it does build a head of steam. And then okay. Bo is going to get the start, but I think that's the wrong choice because if you play him and then you have to bench him, then that would ruin his confidence. Well, that seems like you're assuming that he's not going to do well. And I understand that. I do, based off of last game. But you're looking at, I understand you can extrapolate that across the seasons and kind of make a somewhat of a case for that type of stuff. But you have to look at in the context of the season. We were all saying this. This is a new Bo. This is the year. We were saying it jokingly, but y'all were believing it too after his first two and really his third game because everybody was saying he had a very serviceable game against Penn State. He was not the issue. A lot of other positions were clearly wide receivers. But, I think if he is the quarterback and he gets there, I think you're still going to see some issues. You don't just fire the wide receivers coach and the wide receiver problems get instantly fixed. But we'll just have to wait and see. Patience, folks. I know it's not fun, and I know it's like frustrating for me just to say that, but it's gonna take patience. Somebody said it earlier, but Quentin Lee said both quarterbacks will play. They will find a way, even if TJ doesn't start, to get him in there for that game. And hopefully it'll be in a meaningful time and not just felt something on my shirt and not just in garbage time if we get to that point. Absolutely agree, Plainsman. But if you start TJ, then you could always put Bo back in. Here's what I don't want to happen. I personally do not want to do this 2-quarterback system. I don't. I'm sorry. I want the guy, and let's focus on making it work with him. Now, if he can't make it work, whether that's TJ or Bo, then that's a different story. And then you got your answer right there. But I don't want this switching back in and forth. Those things rarely work. In certain situations, maybe, but not often. Interested in seeing if the O-line and D-line play better. If not, we lose, and it may get ugly. I'm not expecting it to get ugly. I could see where you would draw that conclusion after that last game, and then it's not a far-fetched idea, but there's a much different level of, I think, mental preparation that the guys will have for this game as opposed to the last game. Rise Live says Bo should start. Well, I'll refer back to my other point. But, again, I've said this in intramural flag football. I proposed in 7-on-7 that we should have a dual quarterback system. And when we did it, it worked to perfection. But still, they wouldn't let me do it long term. You think LSU, our running game is going to be too much for the LSU defense? I would normally say yes, but did you see last game against that offensive line not opening up any holes? That was frustrating. I'd like to say that I continue to not be disappointed because I did have low expectations for this unit already. That was disappointing. That was very, very disappointing. And LSU, and don't think for a second that they don't have the athletes to do what Georgia State did. It's highly likely. Scotty, I think you got in here a little late. I haven't made up my mind on who is going to be the starter. Who do I want to be the starter? Bo. I don't know where you land on that category, so I either made you very happy or very mad right now. Who do I think? I don't know. Honestly, I'm not getting an inclination one way or the other. I think, if you were a betting man, you'd put your money on Bo simply because he's been the starter for 2 years now. And, that was one bad game in a season where he's had good or decent games the rest of the time. So I think it makes sense to put your money on Bo, but I haven't made up my mind. I think TJ earned a chance at the start, but will he get it? I don't know. Wow, we are tons of questions and comments tonight. Good crowd here. A lot of new faces. Guys, as you come in, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. That helps out. We're getting close to 1,500 subscribers. I know I keep teasing that we're going to do a contest here, a subscriber contest. That'll really push me to do that once we get to 1,500. So help a brother out. Share it on social media. Get your friends, your family to join. Love all the new faces here. But hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you're not. All right. Larry said that LSU leads the conference in quarterback stats. Again, if my ancient Kindle would go. I could tell you that, or at least tell you how many sacks they have. That's what I understood, is that their defense is very talented. Now, remember, they've got their quarterback, Max Johnson, who I believe is the son of Brad Johnson, the former NFL quarterback. As is the case, just because your father was a great quarterback doesn't mean you will be. Cue the Patrick Nix, Bo Nix jokes right now. Those of you that took advantage of that are going to have to get better material. But all right, here, I got it up now. Let's see. Oh, and it doesn't. Oh, there it goes. I'll look down here and give you guys some information on sacks. B. Ojulari, if I'm saying that right. Defensive end, has 4.5 sacks by himself. Smith, defensive lineman, has 3. Gay has 2. Anthony has 3.5. A lot of guys have 1 or 1.5. That's quite a few sacks already on a very young season. So Larry's right. They seem to be very proficient at getting to the quarterback, and with a offensive lineman or offensive unit, not specific lineman, have not shown the propensity to be able to consistently protect the quarterback. That should worry you. Well, Stan's at this point. He says, we may not win another game. We can't stop the pass. We can't stop the run in the first half. Our offense seems lackluster. Well, we did just in the second half. So I wouldn't go that far, but I understand, Stan, where you're coming from and why, you're feeling that way. I appreciate your honesty, but your support for them as well. Rise Life wants to see the new wide receiver coach in practice. Well, I mean, I don't think we have that kind of access, so all you're going to get is whatever the beat writers are able to share online. He's a well-seasoned guy, it seems like. A lot of West Coast experience. I think the closest was Oklahoma or something, like, to our area. Not that that really plays a huge difference, but connections out there could matter for recruiting and such. So that being said, I don't know what you would really learn from him without having seen Cornelius Williams in practice, but it would be fun to see that. Casey says that we're going to be elite. Again, the master of hyperbole. I would not in any way, shape, or form say that our defense is going to be elite. And I can probably if I was a betting man, put a lot of money on that. They're not going. Are they going to be good and help us get the win? I think so, but not elite. And I love how you just kind of threw your little TJ needs to start in there thing too. He's going to get it in there any way he can. You're going to the Georgia game this year. Maybe a huge mistake. They're going to bully us on the offensive line. Take a sip before I say this. Georgia has not shown me anything that makes them scary. Are they good? Top 10 team? It seems like it. But have you seen that Clemson team they barely beat? It's first game of the season. Granted, did you see what we did to teams at the beginning? I get it. I get all that. Context matters, as I've always said. But I'm not so certain. I don't know that we'll get the win. I put it as one of my 5 games that were in question this season. But I don't think that they're going to walk away easily with a win at this moment. Now, let's see what happens in LSU. Then you might hear a different Kyle next week. It's always funny too with Witt's comment how different everybody's opinion and vision, and that's why when I see people, and I'm not picking on you, Witt, but see people making definitive statements like Bo sucks, TJ's the best. You don't know that. You don't, because Witt's perfect right here. He thinks they're not as bad as everyone thinks. You can't block 9 guys with 6 people. Why aren't we? And he's referring to scheme and stuff. Why aren't we doing more play action? Oh, he's talking about the offensive line. Sorry, but point still stands that he's saying they're not as bad as everyone thinks. It's not that I don't think that they're bad. I just don't think they've shown the capability to do what they need to do consistently. And so with that, I think that just puts them really low down in terms of my opinion of what they can do for us game in and game out. Do you think we'll see a new look for the receivers this game. What do you mean by that, Corey? And I'm probably going to miss your comment because we're way behind. But if you're, and I'm going to go ahead and put the chat. You can click on that link that I just posted if you'd like to and call in the show. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. It could just be your voice, but feel free to if you'd like to take advantage of that. Do I think there'll be a new look? No. If you think that there's going to be a drastic new look in one game, no, that doesn't happen in one game. We won't know for a while, but the wide receiver coach firing may have been a good thing. We don't know. We won't know for a while, but that doesn't fix things overnight. There are much bigger problems than just rotation and personnel issues. Okay, let's see. Casey, so to your point, Gus Malzahn's put a lot of talent in the NFL as well, but should we have kept him? A lot of the Auburn fans don't think so. That alone doesn't mean that you can stay on. It matters what you do now, not what you did. Dusty says we give Bo one more chance, but have TJ ready. Well, yeah, and I think the thing you should be very encouraged by, and someone made this comment like on the video I did earlier this week. It was like, well, of course he was. It was Georgia State. Do you think he doesn't get ready for LSU, for Alabama, for Georgia, for Akron? I just don't get those type of comments. TJ was ready. And ready for the moment. And Harsin even said this, how impressive that was, that when the time came, because heaven forbid Bo will be having an excellent year and he goes down and you have to worry about, is this guy ready? He showed he was ready for the moment. Let's see. Bo has to stop being scared of taking a hit in the pocket. Very easy for you to say, Cam, when you're not taking the hits and not being protected by your line. And I am kind of pointing you out a little bit, but just be careful. Would you say that to Bo? I don't think you would. And not the way that you're saying it here. John says, my biggest complaint is why can't D adjust happens on the sideline instead of waiting until halftime to make changes. They're always adjusting, John, in my opinion. I mean, that's what I'd be doing as a coach, and I think they probably understand that too. But you really can take a beat for a long period of time and really make those hardcore adjustments. That's why you see those things happen where a team like is one way in first half and in the second half they're different, good or bad. It's because you're really able to sit down without being rushed and say, okay, this is what's happening. This is how we have to respond. You can do that in the game or in between the quarters and all that stuff, but it really does make a difference. Just speaking from personal experience playing football. Weston says LSU is boo-boo. I mean, I think so, just in general, not about them competing this year, but it is not a statement I disagree with in any context at any time. Okay. Offensive line can't compete with the best of the best defensive line in the SEC, and LSU has that. So we've talked about the sacks thing. I think you should be worried about the offensive line in this game. I think you should be worried about the offensive line the entire season until they show they consistently can protect the team. And that's not me knocking an individual. And I would be willing to say this to the guys. You guys have not showed consistency. Why is that? What's the problem? Is it personnel? Is it the rotation of who gets, time and what stuff? Like, what's the big deal? Is it scheme? But it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened for 3 years with this same group. And it's frustrating. Michael, good to see you. War Eagle to you. No, we're still way behind. Okay. Wow. I gotta get going here. Do you think that Harsin will make Mason play more man blitz and blitz the linebackers more in this game? It's a great question. I don't have the answer to. They're going to do the best thing that they think they can to respond to LSU has success. And if that's more zone, they're going to do it. Just because we look from a screen and say, "Oh, we got to play more man," doesn't mean that's the solution. It might be. It might very well be. But That doesn't mean it's the solution. It's very easy for us to sit on our couches or in our seats in the stands and quarterback from there. Hindsight, we've got the bird's eye view. I don't disagree. I disagree with this, Weston. I don't think he was good just because his adrenaline was rushing. I think he was prepared. I'm a Big Bo proponent. I think he should start. I don't know who's going to start, but at the same time, I think TJ earned the right to start simply by how he performed in that game. He earned it. He came in a very bad situation and helped us win. So you can't discredit him just because his adrenaline was rushing. You don't think, if that's the case, you don't think he's prepared for this game? That adrenaline's gonna be pumping. They loaded the box with 9 and 10 to stop the run as the passing game was net, and that's a recipe for disaster. Talking about it, there's all these questions out there if Bo is hurt or not. That storyline has gained more momentum and more validity as the week has gone on, but I'm still not 100% on that. I think there's a lot that kind of you can look at and say, wow, what changed, that you really might be able to make that case, but I'm not willing to say 100% that he is super hurt enough to affect his play. Well, something did. All right, we might have to skip a few here, so I'm sorry, guys, but we'll keep coming back. And again, if you want your question or comment really, addressed, and if I'm missing it or anything, you can call in. It is available for you if you'd like to take advantage of it. Posting it again right now, because then we stop and we talk to you. At least we have Shivers in the backfield. He didn't do a whole lot last game, but again, that was his first game back. I love the dude. There's a reason I yell "Shiver me timbers" every time and I know it doesn't work with his name, but just let me have that. Just let me have the one thing, especially last game. I love the dude. He's a freaking he's a little bowling ball with so much fury in him. How do you not love the dude? I hope that he is more of a factor in this game, especially out of the back, catching passes, or at least, I know everybody hates him, but bubble screens or things like that. Get this guy the ball in his hands in open space and watch what happens. Helmets start flying, people start flying. Just get out of his way. Let's see. Pull that. You like the wishbone idea? Well, I hope that you guys, and I know it feels like we're getting to the point in desperation because so many people, not you, Dusty, but had these lofty expectations that we were going to win the national championship this year, and those are crumbling before them, which is why we're seeing so much ferocity in people's social media posts and things like that. He's not playing this year, Demetrius. That you need to make peace with that. I know that's what you may want to see. They are doing exactly what they should be doing and letting that guy sit back, learn, watch what not to do, and prepare for the future. Think of how we were beating Penn State for a second. Yeah, there was a moment there where we had that game in control. We talked a little bit, Kevlar, about Tony Franklin earlier, and basically what you're saying there. Don't make comments about a program that you really didn't make any contributions to that were successful. Stan, good to have you here. Thank you, man. Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Just share. Oh, I appreciate that. We've gotten a kind of an uptick here in viewers right now, so I appreciate it. Looks like some of those people are coming in and joining the stream, and we're still way behind in chat. way behind. But thank you for doing that. That's what always helps. New look as in the routes or whatever. Yeah. You might see some. Will you see new things in the wide receivers? Yes. But will it make that much of a difference? I don't know. I really don't know. Just stay the same in the pocket. Yeah, so it's very easy for us to sit here and say that's what we need to do. It's a much different thing to do that. Even if you work on it, when you get in the game, when you've had these situations occur over and over again, it's hard to break those habits. It is. It really is. And yes, Kyle, I can say that definitely. What do you mean definitely? Are you on the team, or are you no adjustments are made on defense until halftime? I don't understand how you can say that definitely. And I'm not trying to like pick on you, Dusty, but unless you are a person on the team, everybody's got sources and stuff, but that's a source that it has to go through. And I say that for things that I tell you guys that I'm hearing, take what I say with a grain of salt. Adjustments are made throughout the game. The big ones always happen at halftime, and that's why you see those things take shape there. Thomas, good to see you. Jermaine, good to see you as well. It would be great if Harsin can win in Baton Rouge finally. Hey, if we get this win in Baton Rouge, I think everybody is just hunky-dory again. Not necessarily, but, I would say the excitement for this game in particular has taken quite a hit. Penn State loss, struggle bus against Georgia State. It really has taken a hit. So I understand that, but we should still be excited about this thing. I don't think you can say he's not a good DC. Not yet. It's the same people that are saying that, Bo's not a good quarterback this year based off of one game. This is a new guy with new players, and, these players had certain schemes and stuff crunched into their brains. It's just not that simple to say he's not that good. Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator out at the Pac-12. Was it the Pac-10 at the time? I can't remember. That's a long time ago. Obviously, you got to keep that in context and think about that. But you can't say he's not a good defensive coordinator. Is he a good defensive coordinator for us? Right now, it doesn't seem like it, but time will tell. Ground floors here. Good to see you. Yeah, Larry, I'm excited to see which wide receivers maybe see some more playing time. I think if you looked and saw Elijah Canyon, Capers in there a little bit more after halftime, when a lot of people are assuming the firing or the discussion about we're going to be making a change happened. You could probably understand why people think that, and there's might be some validity to it. We need to talk about some stats and stuff. We're like 20 minutes away from our normal get off time. I know a lot of you go over to War Report after this, so I try to be done by 9:00. But again, don't be shy. If you want to call in, you can hit that link. Don't have to be on screen or anything. And you can just have your voice on here. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about that. Back it up. Richmond, Virginia. Man, we got a lot of people calling in from everywhere tonight. Good crowd. I'm not a fan. So yeah, Dusty. So I understand that you're not a fan of his. You've made that very clear. He's what we got, and I don't know that you want to make a change that drastic at this point in the season with so much season left. We get to, game 8, 2/3 of the season done, and things still haven't. Don't be shocked that Harsin has shown that he'll make a decision on a dime, as drastic as it may seem. So you might get your wish, but let's support the guy right now while they try to figure this thing out. Patience. I know it's frustrating. I know it feels like I'm being talking down, but patience. All right, we got our first caller in. Love to see a new G-Man is calling. What's going on, G-Man? G-Man. Hello? G-Man, can you hear me? You hear me?
Hey, can you hear?
I can hear you now. What's up? Uh-oh. The awkward silence.
Hey, man.
There you are. What's
going on?
How you doing? G-Man, we might have a delay here.
I'm doing good, man. Just calling in.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hey, I don't know if you can hear me, but we might have a little bit of delay. Do me a favor, disconnect real quick and call right back in. Let's see if that helps. That has helped before, just so we don't have a lot of dead air. But try that again. All right, I'm gonna. If you want to, okay, I want to make sure I don't want to there's two options. It says kick them or ban them, and I don't. Ban means you can't call back in ever, but like kick means you can just call back in. So try again, G-Man, if you can. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Felix, what's going on? It's Harson's first year. We'll be better. I agree. All right, where are we at in comments? Yeah, they worked on one scheme all spring and fall. Now it looks like it's not the right fit defensively. We'll figure this out with our defensive backs. Just takes longer. It doesn't mean it's not the right fit, right? You know, it's like you said, it's been 3 weeks or 4 weeks, technically, to be exact, 4 games. So you got to give them more time to figure that out. And this may be a good point, kind of talking about what Dusty was saying. You know, the 3-4 may not be the right fit for us. It may not be. I don't like the 3-4. And this is just me playing NCAA football. I could never be successful with it, and I never could be successful defending it. So it's just not a defense that I'm accustomed to. Rise Life. Arkansas coach is a great example of patience. Now, I wouldn't say so far that he's a great example of patience. Right now, it looks good. Let's wait a couple more things. It's going to take a little bit more time. All right, Dusty's calling in. What's going on, my man?
How's it going, buddy?
How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Can't wait for Saturday. How about you?
Hey, listen, look, we might be a little bit low after that game, but it's still Auburn versus LSU, baby. How can you not be hyped for a game in Baton Rouge?
Absolutely. Tiger Bowl, man. Tiger Bowl.
You ever been down there?
Yeah, so my best friend, he was a student there.
Yeah.
And I actually went to, I'm sorry, my cat's trying to get in the video here.
My best friend was podcast's back here somewhere. She'll come up. We'll just have a cat, session. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. My best friend was a student there all 4 years. So I went down there all the time and visited him. I've been to some games there, watch Fournette run all over us, man. So yeah, I've been there for sure.
Jeez, that's don't remind me. I can't deal with the Fournette memories. Watching.
It's so crazy, man. You get like 100 yards within their stadium and just the corn dog odor.
Oh, what? So I can't understand where that comes from. How and like I just when I heard the corn dog stuff before I visited LSU, I was like, it's funny. I'm gonna play along. It can't be true. And sure enough, I get down there and I'm like, corn dogs. Like, where does it come from? Like, do they have a factory there we don't know about, or what's going on with that?
Maybe it's like that Cajun must that mixes with that bourbon and whiskey and all that, and it just you get that gumbo, just the whole thing, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to know. How about that? All right, give me some.
No, man. I just wanted to call and say, man, I'm not trying to be like too hard on Derek Mason. It's just not something that I was from the get go. I just feel like we have man press corners, and I saw them be successful under Kevin Steele.
Yeah.
And I like a coach that kind of like Bruce Pearl, where what is my talent? And I'm going to build my system around that. And right now, I mean, I don't know how much more we have to see on defense. Like going into the season, the secondary was supposed to be the strength. And now this is, it's unacceptable, really. So that's my whole thing with that, man. I'm patient with Harsin. My cousin, big Bama fan, his first ever Bama game was when ULM beat him. So I've always given him head.
Say it one more time for the people in the back. Who beat him?
Nick Saban got beat by the UL Monroe Warhawks, everybody.
Sorry,
and got worked in the Sugar Bowl the next year by the Utah Utes. Yep. So let's give Harsin a little bit of time.
Yeah. Now, so let me turn that back on you in a nice way. Are you willing to give Derek Mason a year to figure it out?
No.
Why?
No.
So why are you going to give Harsin? Obviously I'm not trying to pick on you, but I'm just curious.
Right.
Why Harsin and not Mason?
Well, Harsin's record, albeit at Boise State, is pretty impressive.
Right.
I'm not impressed with Derek Mason's record. It's just his defense. I understand the challenge that is Vanderbilt. I get it. But if you're that good of a coach, it would have been better than that, man. And then I don't want to get too much into the other stuff that went on there, but the way that ended, they couldn't even get enough players to go up to the Georgia game with them because of the way he handled some stuff there.
Yeah.
So it's just messy to me, and I'm just not impressed with his body of
And
work.
I think a point to yourself, obviously we need to be acknowledged. He was the Vanderbilt head coach. There's not really much you can work with there. However, did you see who we just played and what he did with Vanderbilt? Not Tony Franklin. Wow. James Franklin. He turned Vanderbilt into a team that you actually had to be like, oh crap, we gotta pay attention. So it's been done. It's not like going to Vanderbilt is a death sentence for a coach. So yeah, I think you have a point there in saying that while we can give him somewhat of a pass for being at Vanderbilt, it's not like a complete pass.
And he was there a while. I mean, you got stuff to look at. You got a body of work to judge him off of. So that's
yeah. And I mean, there's a reason he got fired. So there's also a reason that Will Muschamp got fired. Apparently, he's not a good head coach. And
all you Bo haters, that's the reason why TJ Finley was named second string. Carson gonna put the best guy out there, man.
He will. And hey, whoever he puts out there, got my full support. So I just want him to pick the guy and go with it, and let's figure it out. That's what this season needs to be about. And I know that's frustrating, but let's just figure it out. And what happens? It may be great, it may be awful, like last week. But hey, that's what being an Auburn fan is all about: is riding the roller coaster. It's never going to change, no matter the head coach. It's what we do. I hate to say that.
Yeah. Well, an 8:00 kickoff in Death Valley, man. I think everybody just strap up for the crazy.
Yep. All right. Hey, Dusty, I got another guy calling in, but thank you for sharing with your thoughts about the game and Mason and everything.
Absolutely, man. Keep the content coming. War Eagle, brother.
All right. Thank you, buddy. War Eagle. All right, G-Man, let's try it again. Give me one more time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got it. I think we had a little bit of delay last time. What is up, G-Man?
Man, nothing much, man. Just ready for this LSU game.
How you feeling? Like, you give me like percentage confidence about this. How like that we'll win? Percentage confidence.
Okay. Before the Georgia State game, I was probably pushing 75% chance.
Okay.
Now I'm probably in the 45s. Maybe.
That's fair. That's fair.
Personally, I think that Bo Nix will start.
Yeah.
Even though, but I know people are saying, oh, Bo Nix, if the leash is shorter, why start him? So what I think what's gonna happen is, I think they'll give Bo Nix a start. Give him a few drives. See how he does. If he's doing all right, I'm pretty sure they'll just ride with him. But if he, goes in the game and throws let's just say 2 for 12, then yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
TJ, let's go. But
yeah.
but if Bo Nix should start throwing darts all over the field, like maybe that was the wake up call Bo Nix needed.
Absolutely.
So I think that was like a, I don't know, like a almost like a timeout. Like, okay, see, you need to take a break, sit back, and see what's going on.
Yeah. I think that does a lot for the psyche of a player too. Is he was frustrated. Coach has said that. TJ was saying the great thing and everybody's missing is he was being a good teammate on the sideline and going up to TJ and just talking through with him in between series for TJ and saying, "Are you seeing this? Or this is what I'm seeing from over here. How's it look out there?" That's what you want to see in a leader, no matter where you are out on the field. If you're on the field or not, help the team out in any way you can. So if he gets the start, I agree with you. I think he is running with a short leash, and I think he should. Because I don't know if you watched our live stream this Monday, but we were grading out the game. I said F+ for Bo Nix. F because you got benched, but plus because you did some things, but not. A lot.
The speculations out that he's injured. So if he is injured, my question is, why would he play? But
that's a great question. That is a great question.
But so if he was injured, I'll give Bo Nix the benefit of the doubt and give him a D. But if he wasn't injured and he was just playing the way he played, then that's a flat F. Yeah.
Well, and that's the problem too. If he is hurt and he's still playing, it's a lot of questions about why do we feel the need that he's still our best choice. I think that should tell you something, but I can't make that definitive statement yet. I think it's an interesting conversation to have. But also, if he is still hurt and he's out there playing and we still have some issues, it's still going to, is it more he's hurt? Is it just Bo's struggles continue? I don't know. Will we get the answers this week? I don't know,
And
G-Man. I don't know.
all due respect to TJ Finley, he won the game. Like
Oh,
let's
yeah.
just throw that out there. But but we can't, like I'm just not ready to sit here and say that okay, TJ Finley is what we've been missing for one drive. Granted, it was at the 2-yard line, it was a 98-yard
Yep.
drive, and it
Yep.
was the game winning drive.
Yep.
But you got to look at different caveats. Okay, for one, it was Georgia State. Could he done that same drive if it was against a good defense like Georgia or LSU's a pretty decent defense?
Yeah.
So you got to look at it in that perspective. I'm just not ready to sit here and throw Bo under the bus yet and just
Mhm.
throw TJ in the game based on his performance. Like I just got to see more from TJ, I guess. And I think we will see some of TJ in the
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Part of it due to where it's going to be in LSU, and so I think they'll give him a couple drives just to like to throw it in LSU's face, like this is what y'all missing.
Yeah.
Like throw a nice 40-yard bomb to Malcolm Johnson Jr. again or something, like be like in y'all face,
That
you
might
know.
be the connection there that we've been missing, huh?
But
Uh,
I have to say the biggest thing for Auburn right now is I'm not big on the wide receivers. Like
yeah, I
I
understand.
like I think like if I have to say Kobe Hudson is probably our wide receiver one,
Yeah. He's
because
earned it,
like
hasn't he?
right, and like don't get me wrong, like I've been on the Cedric Jackson train since he got there. Like
I
I
am
was like,
too.
yeah, that's what we needed. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not saying he don't deserve to play, but he shouldn't be the number one target. Like I don't think he should get 8, 9 targets a game. Maybe 3 to 5.
Yeah.
You
I,
know,
I I would like to see Shed be utilized, and I said this in the last live stream, utilized like Cody Burns. Cody Burns was a reliable quarterback in the right, excuse me, well, in quarterback too. In some, we can have that discussion today. A wide receiver in the right situations. I mean, you don't throw that type of pass over the middle of the national championship game and get things kicked off unless you trust the guy to make the catch and make the play. So I think Shed is one of those type of players that we need to stop putting in positions where he's not best suited for and put him in situations where he's going to be the most successful. And I think that's where you'd see the true Shed come out. And I love the dude. I'm on the train with you. Love Shed Jackson, the story and everything. But I agree with you. Kobe's the guy right now. Both of them, I think those two guys have at least set themselves apart as being somewhat reliable. Everybody else is up in the air at this point.
and I guess my question for you is, will we see? We didn't see Demetrius Robertson.
Yeah.
Will we see a little bit of him this week?
Now,
In
he was on the bike from what I saw several times throughout the game. So he's clearly nursing. Whether he's hurt is a question. I don't know. But if he's nursing something, which you would think when you're running on the bike, sometimes they do that just to keep warm. But he was doing it enough that I was kind of like, what's going on there? Um, I hope so, because I think he at least, even though he hasn't produced a lot this past week, I think he takes attention away because people respect his history at Georgia, so I would hope with the change at wide receiver coach that you're going to be seeing a lot more of players that you haven't. And I think that, how about this? You're going to be seeing a wider rotation than you have been seeing because they're going to be trying to figure this thing out right now.
Oh yeah, and so I believe we can win. Like I believe LSU, like because like you know 3 months ago, looking at this schedule, that if you told me we was gonna go into the October 3-1, I'd be like, okay, we're in a good spot.
Right.
LSU, okay, Georgia's always pretty good. We'll beat Ole Miss, we'll beat Arkansas, but I mean, we could easily lose all 4 games in October.
Yep.
Easily. Like,
Yep. I
those are
agree.
all winnable games and all losable games. Like everybody's hopping on the Georgia train. I'm not there yet.
I'm not
Their
either.
defense is elite, but their offense is still questionable. Like if you like from what I've seen so far, their backup quarterback is doing better than JT Daniels is. You ask me, but
Yep.
hey, I'm not finna go down that road.
Hey, we got plenty of time to talk about that next week.
but with LSU, like I think we can win. Like I think you have to stop what's his name? Butte, Kayshawn Butte.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
serious
yeah.
guy. But when I watched the Mississippi State game, it's like all he likes to like if Max Johnson hit him on that slant route, he's gone. So my question is for the defense, like what do you think Derek Mason have to do to to keep everything more or less in front, especially like when Butte run that 10-yard slant route, because
Uh-huh.
that's what he gets all his yards at right there.
Right, right. Yeah, I honestly think a lot of our defensive back issues too are going to be, and I know you're asking about Butte mainly, but like I really think we start fixing a lot of these defensive issues. We get more pressure on the quarterback, and Zacoby was in there in Penn State when we weren't getting pressure still. So obviously he's a huge impact as you saw in the second half of the game, but it hasn't been enough of an impact to fix those getting pressure on the quarterback situations. I don't know if it's the 3-4 that's really throwing these defensive linemen off and that stuff. It's got to play a factor, but is it big enough? Honestly, it's I don't have solutions for it, but it's got to be getting more pressure on the quarterback because those are quick routes that they've got that those are pretty predetermined. And if they know someone's coming and getting in their face quick, they're going to be a little more quick to pull the trigger and maybe not hit it in at the right spot, or late to pull the trigger, trying to get around a little bit of pressure. So I think, like you said, with that example, that's how you have the success. I'm not a defensive coordinator, but that's just me in my bleachers up in the upper deck last week, analyzing everything.
Right, because like back on like LSU being on defense, like LSU is gonna watch the Georgia State film and be like, okay, we're just gonna stack the box, and
Yep.
so I, if I was the coach, I'm not making nowhere near what them guys are making down in Auburn, Alabama, but if if I was the coach, I would start the game off throwing the ball
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
so to give Tank and Jarquez and to give them room to run, because I think we can put 160 yards on the ground Saturday.
Yes.
I really do.
We
Like
have the capability of that. The question is, will the offensive line give them the even small amount of light to get through to get those yards? Because you've got playmakers, right? You got Tank, who just, I mean, I don't even have to say it, just say his name. He's a tank. You got Jarquez, who has been able to squeeze out of the smallest holes and just bust off for long runs. You got Sean Shires, who's just a human wrecking ball. So these guys are playmakers. Give them a little bit of room. And you're right, 160 yards is not hard to get. It's easy to get, but they gotta have a little room.
I
So,
said, if we get over 150 yards, we should win that game.
yep,
Honestly, like if
I
if
think that's
we're
fair.
any if we're between, I'll say the 130 to 160 range, I'll say we should have a chance. We should win the game, because
Yep,
that means
I
our
agree.
running game is working.
Yep, I agree. All right, G man, we're gonna try to get some score predictions in here, but I appreciate you stopping in us to give us your thoughts.
All right, well, let me give you my score prediction real
Go,
quick
hey, right now,
on the
hey, you get
phone.
a
Yeah.
official. Do it, do it.
All right, well, I'm gonna go Auburn. I'm gonna go 34-24.
Auburn 34-24. So you're expecting a little bit of a cushion in the score.
I think
Just,
Auburn will get a last minute touchdown.
okay.
So 34-24.
So kind of like Georgia State, where it was like a lot closer than it looked like. Even it was still close, but
Yeah. Yes.
14-point swing in 30 seconds is pretty drastic, and maybe that happens again. So I see where you're going.
Yeah, I'll say 34-24.
All right, G man, pull them through for me on Saturday, and hopefully, we don't have any crazy things happen. But I appreciate you calling in.
All right, thanks, man.
Hey, man, see you. Bye, War Eagle. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Felix, I saw that you called in and we were having a great conversation with G-Man, so sorry about that, but you can call back in. You've got the thing. Here's what we're gonna do. We need to get our score predictions in. I know War Report is live right now, and I see a couple people have left, so I'm sure they've headed over there. So sorry they're gonna miss this part, but we had a great group tonight. Comments, and I know I've missed a ton of y'all's comments, but we're we'll answer some more of those. So thank you guys for your patience. I love talking to people on the phone. All right. How about this? Score predictions. Everybody post them now. Your official Auburn versus LSU score prediction. Help me make mine. I love the optimism that G-Man has. I can see where he's coming from on that. There's so many questions that I have for this game. And if you remember back to my prediction show for the season, I said that I thought we would lose at Penn State but beat LSU. And I was pretty confident about that dual prediction there. Now I'm kind of not so confident about that. I'm kind of in one of those situations that I described about the Penn State game early on. It's a push situation where it kind of favors the home team. And I think there's a lot of uphill battles that Auburn's having to fight outside of them, but within them this week. And can they overcome that? If they do, it's a testament to Harsin and his ability to right the ship when it kind of tips over to the side. So I'm kind of wrestling with that at this moment. Let's see what you guys are saying. We've got a 31-24 quick picks or a pick six and a block punt. Hey, it happened last week. Why can't it happen again? Special teams matters, folks. If you had any questions about that, special teams matters. This week was a perfect example. 28-24. We got 34-24. LSU 31, Auburn 19. Dusty. Ooh. That's a thumping. Well, not a thumping, but Auburn 17. I don't care if we sit through another 3-2 win. I want Auburn to win in Death Valley. Hey, I can get on board with that thinking. 36-22. Okay. 20-17. Oops, I missed it. Where'd it go? 20-17, a defensive battle. I hope so, if our defense can battle. 31-24, first win in Baton Rouge in 99, 23-21. 28-17, Auburn. Too many Tiger mascots. Yes. Keep them coming. Keep the predictions coming if you haven't got yours in. Let's count them right now. Auburn, LSU, Missouri, Tuskegee. Well, that's not D1, but I'm just going everything now. Princeton. I guess that would be 5. Princeton, Pacific. Gosh, Kyle, I used to have all these down pat. Oh gosh, Townsend. There's so many more, and I'm forgetting them, but there are a lot of Tigers out there. Clemson. Wow. You forget that crazy looking thing's a tiger. 28-21. Let's change Auburn's mascot to something Alabama. Heavens, no. Can't get rid of the national championship winning mascot. Anyway, we can have that conversation another day. Why Auburn is the Tigers? Because I think the story goes because of the way they were playing at the time. The name came, it reminded them of the ferocity of a tiger. I think is one of the tales of that. Anyway, all right. I am sitting on a scenario where I'm in a push situation. I know it's very convenient for me to say that because then I make to drag the suspense out. But I really feel that. And in a push situation, I favor the home team. So I'm kind of giving LSU, I want to give LSU the win. There's just something about this where my confidence about this has only waned a little bit. I would feel comfortable saying that we're going to get down to the red zone several times. Will we score touchdowns is the big question. So I would feel comfortable saying if Auburn wins, I think it's a low scoring affair. 23-20, meaning that Auburn got 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals, if I did my math right. And similar for LSU, obviously. So I'm going to say 23-20 Auburn on the road. It may take a last-minute field goal or last-minute touchdown or things like that. I could see it going that way. But I'm really wanting to give LSU the win here just because of everything that's going on. But I'm going to say 23-20 just so I can be a homer. You think Auburn's going to win? Not an Auburn or an LSU fan. Okay, well, that makes sense why you're asking this question, but I also think Auburn wins. Hey, listen, Auburn has the capability of winning. Auburn has the talent, has the coaching mostly to be able to compete with anybody. And if we can get the confidence that team was rolling with going into Penn State, and for some points through the Penn State game, I feel pretty confident that we can weather the storm in a very rowdy, crazy, drunken environment in LSU and break this streak. But I'm going to take a play out of Coach Harson's playbook in terms of his mentality, what he's trying to preach to the players and to us for his program. Take this as a 1-0. I think if you go into this and have your hopes about this streak being broken, and you're going to just come down crashing. But if you just take it game by game, and I know that's cliche to say that, but it really is. Yeah, I think I'm buying into it with Coach Harsin. I think you'll walk away from this, even in a loss, a little bit better, and you won't go from here to there, here to there. You'll go from here to there, and then much easier to get back up to here. I've done that in my life. I'm not always good at that, but it's worked so far for me. All right, let's see. If Auburn can score in the red zone, if anybody can score in the red zone, they'd be a good team. Last minute comments, questions, derogatory rebuttal. Get them in now. You can even call in real quick. I still got the open lines up. I'm not going to post it again, but it's up in the chat window. Stayed a little bit longer tonight, and I know there's some other YouTube channels going live. So if you do head over there at this, please tell them that E2C Network said hello, and War Eagle as well. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think the game once again goes through the quarterbacks, Max Johnson or maybe Bo Nix or TJ Finley. How they perform is really what's going to be the difference here. Because I think LSU is going to have a pretty good defense, and I think Auburn's defense is going to be questionable. I know that you can make a stark comparison there, but I think the quarterback area is really what's going to determine what wins. Because if Bo is going to, let's assume Bo starts, just because it's probably the betting money, you know. If he does well, that's going to open the running game up, which is going to make that defense, as good as they are, have to be back on their heels. But if we let them set their feet and don't make them attack and defend both sides of the or both assets of the game, Auburn will lose and the streak will continue. And it would be sure nice to see it end. It's had this few opportunities to happen, but it's so yeah. Changed my score to 24-21 by a field goal. Okay. Oh, thank you. Very appreciate that. Yeah, we had a great crowd tonight. We're really starting to grow again. We're kind of starting to peak up again. Again, we're getting close to 1,500 subscribers. So please share with your friends, your family, share it in a Facebook group. Really, really good. It's all because of you guys. It has nothing to do with what I'm doing. It has, and my contributors on the network are doing. It has everything to do with you guys. Thank you for the kind words. Corey, on your way out, if you want to help support what we do here, check out some of the links in the description. You can be a channel member, hit the join button or the link, and it's $1 a month. So all it takes to help support here. You can take that a step further for only $1 more and become a Booster Club member on Patreon. It supports everything, not just the YouTube channel, the podcast network, social media, all that good stuff. And there are different levels where you can get certain perks as well. Again, Doug, I'm going to give you a call out. Doug is one of our newer Booster Club members. Sent you an email. If you can give me a response on some of those things that I sent you an email on, that'd be great, because I need to start getting you some of your perks, sir. But yeah, please do check all those things out if you can. War Eagle to you guys as well. You should give G-Man back on the shelf for the next call. Hey, Wednesday nights, open mic night. Be here. But yeah, great, good discussions all the way around. A lot of honesty. Appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody being, for the most part, kind and reasonable with their discussions, even when we had disagreements. You guys are the best little family within the Auburn family. Until we talk to you again. Oh, one more thing. We will go live after the game, probably at 2:00 in the morning here, but be here for live after the game, post-game reaction show, probably at like 2:00 in the morning. Until we talk to you guys again, War Eagle, let's beat the smell of the corn dogs out of LSU.